Hello, welcome back. Here we are again, El Jardín de la Paz, Ayahuasca and Master Plant Healing Center in Peru. This is our beautiful Maloka, where we hold ayahuasca ceremonies, and it's also a temple. It's a space for people to come and meditate or do yoga or just chill out when they're working with plants here. I'm going to do a big diet myself in about a week or two for 1 month, so I wanted to make another video, and I've shared the nuts and bolts of what we do here now. I wanted to set this kind of practical conversation going to dispel some myths and to make it clear where I'm coming from, so that as we continue to dialogue and share information and have conversations, people kind of understand the basics of what we're doing here. What I want to talk about today is something a little bit more personal, something connected with the experiences that I've had myself working with these plants, something connected with what it means to be a woman, what it means to work with feminine energy, whether you're a woman or a man, or however you gender identify yourself. In creation and in this world, there is masculine and feminine energy, and these are two fundamental spiritual principles that we see repeated through all sorts of wisdom traditions. Before I came here, I really wasn't a fan of the term goddess outside of a history class. But working with these plants and through my own personal circumstances, it's become a word that... Oh! Someone just fell down with a bucket of dishes. We do have a rainwater tank, but it's nice to wash them in the river. Okay. The word goddess has come to mean something very important to me. It has come to represent the fundamental frequency of energy. It has come to represent that which I go to for support, for centering, for guidance within all of the work that I do here. Many people who work with ayahuasca will describe the spirit as a her, as a feminine force, as a grandmother, as a mother. For me, she presents as a huge green and black boa constrictor that's wrapping around my body and through my body and dancing in me and dialoguing with me as well. And the image of the serpent, it's interesting because the plant ayahuasca itself is a vine, but the brew is a combination of two or more plants. The symbology of the snake, through many esoteric traditions, through many religions, is very, very, very much connected with this kind of like evolutionary or transformational force. I mean, even the snake in the Bible, even the story of the snake and the knowledge and the temptation in the Bible, if you look at some other sources than the sort of traditional contemporary interpretation of this story, the snake is something very much connected with intense transformational knowledge. For me, when I first came here, I was the only woman for quite a while. We had friends come and go, but in terms of the permanent staff here, I was working with two very powerful Peruvian curanderos, two brothers. My partner, who's also like super alpha male, kind of super strong masculine energy. Another guy that was here building. Peruvian laborers, it's a very machismo culture. Not only was I in this super sensitive spiritual environment, but I was just surrounded by guys, and really macho guys. And as I started working with the ayahuasca and working with the plants, and my own process started to unfold, I found I had absolutely no choice but to become the physical grounding point in this environment for feminine energy, because that was the role that I was in, not consciously chosen, but that's what was happening. And the most miraculous thing started to happen. I find myself just walking around with my hands on my lower belly all the time. There was just this churning of energy that was starting. And I'd come into ayahuasca ceremonies and I'd be lying on my back, and my whole body would just be convulsing with these waves of energy that was rising up my spine. And then outside of ceremony and outside of dieta, I started having these really bizarre experiences where I was kind of twitching, like my chest or my belly or my back would be twitching, and I was super emotional, but yet at the same time having this really enhanced psychic experiences and a lot of dreams and feeling really connected. And it occurred to me that, you know, the snake, the serpent, is referred to in another very, very powerful wisdom path or you know, text, and that is in the form of the Kundalini that comes from the tantric yogic Hindu tradition. The Kundalini is described as being a coiled reserve of energy that lives at the base of the spine, energy that is spiritual in nature, and that when it is awoken through practices of yoga, meditation, devotional mantra, prayer, or sometimes just spontaneously, it rises up through the spine, through each of the chakras, through each of the energy centers, coming through the crown and creating the conditions for very rapid spiritual awakening, expansion of consciousness, opening the capacity for spiritual energy to move through the body. It becomes this really, you know, juicy life force, and it's feminine in nature. You know, the Sanskrit texts that talk about this refer to Kundalini as Kundalini Shakti. Shakti being the goddess, being the primordial female energy that is the source of all creation. In fact, in this tradition, you know, the masculine is seen as being Shiva, which is this great yogic, perfect stillness, meditative, conscious awareness. But even that, you know, they're inseparable, and it gets really complex. But the point I'm trying to get to is, sort of by default, my experiences with ayahuasca, very quickly it became clear to me that what I was experiencing was a Kundalini experience. Not to say that the serpent and ayahuasca are the same things, but that Kundalini Shakti, this frequency of energy that rises within the body and within the spirit, is on a similar frequency to the serpent energy of ayahuasca. And I truly believe that, you know, we've had thousands of years of patriarchy. We've had the very conscious eradication of many thousands of women, many of them healers and holders of knowledge, and the sort of witch burning stuff that went on so long ago. But also in more modern times, you know, this ongoing repression of the sexuality, the demonization of the sexual and spiritual power of women. And this has also been only one expression of an overall rejection of feminine energy in our culture and in the world at large. And what it's led to, you know, is a massive imbalance. A lot of the environmental stuff that we're seeing now, a lot of the individual experiences of disconnection, of purposelessness, of, you know, feeling separate, all of this stuff, I believe it's the really direct result of a massive imbalance between masculine and feminine energy. So it's interesting, you know, a lot of people talk about the rise of the divine feminine at this time, and, you know, I like to try and stay super grounded, but I can't deny that within myself, my own personal experience, the goddess, as it's presented to me as Kundalini Shakti through the feminine spirit of ayahuasca, has revealed many things about bringing back into balance the way that we live individually and therefore collectively with our planet, our beings, the whole of existence, really. So it's super exciting. Things have settled down now. It was really hard for a while. It was a really intense process. I'm sure many of you have read about these people with horrific Kundalini awakenings, like pain through the body, super tired, super sensitive, super all over the show. But, you know, I found turning to these Hindu texts very helpful, because they, you know, it's thousands of years of knowledge of how to work with this energy and how to manage it. So, you know, that's been great for me. Through all of this, actually, for years I've had menstrual issues, like really terrible menstrual issues. And I've gotten to a point now where I can pretty much, I still have to get into bed and be really still for the first 3 days of my moon cycle, but I can pretty much make it without taking loads of painkillers. Maybe I take 1 or 2 Nurofen if I can. You know, if I'm not into some kind of dietary restriction, that means I can't But it sucks. I've had scans here in Peru, they can't see anything. I feel like through some of the visions I've had and some of the information I've received that it's perhaps endometriosis, but they can't always see that with a scan. The thing is, ayahuasca can't heal it. Ayahuasca has been showing me, wow, the womb is a portal. I mean, when my mother was a fetus in my grandmother's body, I was in there as well in the form of an egg. We're so connected. Time and space is literally moving through us all the time. Every month when we bleed, all of the time of that month is coming back into the earth and moving down. It's a, you know, as women, we're these amazing open channels for creation, both physically and I feel also energetically and spiritually. So we carry a huge amount in our wombs, and it's not even just all of ours, you know. So I've been working through a lot of this karmic stuff and emotional stuff, and it has been helping. But to really get to the core of this physical issue, I'm going to try and do this long dieta with a plant called pinon and also a tree called zapote ranaco. I really want to drink another tree, maestro teacher tree, but I have to listen to the guidance of my curandero that I'm working with and heal my body first, so that when the time comes, I'm strong enough to integrate the shamanic wisdom of this tree. So patience. It's all related, you know. Woman's mysteries, working with a feminine consciousness, working at a time when feminine energy is really needed to come back in a big way in our planet if we're to correct the imbalances that are going on. And, you know, for me, ayahuasca has been a massive trigger. I believe it triggered a Kundalini awakening in me, and it's an ongoing process. By no means am I some enlightened guru, you know. I had a peanut butter sandwich for breakfast. I'm not living some kind of pure life. I'm not here to preach anything. I'm just sharing my experience because I feel like I want to. And I look forward to reading the crazy comments and the horrible comments and all of the good ones, because I think it's really funny. Anyway, I'm going to go and keep on doing what I'm doing, clean some spew buckets and cook some plantains and, you know, try and convince people to stay in their casitas for another 3 days before they leave the jungle. This is the glamorous life that I'm leading in the jungle. I'll get back to you guys after my dieta, hopefully looking super shiny and happy and with lots of interesting stories. But for now, I just wanted to share those thoughts. So, thanks.